in the imperial era. And so the design was really has no regard to the communities, to the inhabitants, or diversity. That's what Jonglei Canal was intended. Even though today we can try to look at it and see how it could fit our situation, but the original history is clear. The original intention was very clear at that. Now, with the ring canal, it's not meant to drain it. It's meant to control the seasonal spill and also ensure that the biodiversity in the south is reserved. And to the last question that was sent to me, was read out to me from an individual called Sosogi, who was wondering about cultural heritage. Yeah, the UNESCO recognized it as a cultural heritage and biodiversity. But there's more to it why South Sudanese should preserve it. One, it's a source of water resources. When the water goes, the water resources goes. The fish goes. All the other animals in it that are part of water resources will go with water. And that is very important for it to be preserved. Number, it's a national pride. There are few things that bring South Sudanese together for them to have national pride. One of them is wildlife. The other one is, and those things can be shared in a way that it can bring the country together for better. I think so. To the mitigation measures that Ian Matthew was talking about, yes, mitigation measures. At this point, the level of flooding is so unprecedented, and it is important that we put in few measures. One of them is to care for the affected population. And as I indicated earlier, and Honorable Joshua Dau mentioned, articulated much better, is to relocate population. And relocation comes with caring for security of those people. And it's also come with how you could fit such population and attract other resources in order for this population to survive on. Because the fear is this. This is January. January is actually gone. This is February, and we are almost in the middle of summer. And now the waters is still on the ground, and the ground is saturated enough already, and it is soon going to be about the rainy season, and there are chances that it will rain earlier this time because what is rain? The precipitation is a function of water evaporation, and if we have water all over the place like this, and the sun is up 12 hours, then we expect more rain. So it is possible that it could rain earlier this time. And if it does rain earlier and we have the water at the level it is today, then we are seeing more potential death for people. We are seeing more potential death of livestock and more displacement. So in anticipation of this, it is important that the governments at state level, especially the states that are affected the most, the Upper Nile, Unity State, Jonglei, Lake State. These states need to prepare in advance for the catastrophe that could happen next year. So that is one major relocation people at this point, as people are looking for medium or long term mitigation measures. But there got to be investment at the high level. If you look today at how much money is allocated at the national budget to issues of water, water insecurity or water security, to issue to the Ministry of Water, Resource and Irrigation, you want to make sure that this is prioritized. And if it is prioritized, then it needs to be reflected at the national budget. This is something that the MPs can take up. The MPs at national level, at the state level. And these MPs should be able to talk to their population to relocate. These MPs should be able to can come to those camps or those new places, high ground where people are located, so that the NGOs can provide relief. The government of South Sudan should provide security to these people that are located. As you all know, that issues of displacement in new areas create new issues with the host between the host community and the environmental IDP. These need to be managed. and this is part of the security. There are a lot to talk, but I think it would be important to allow others to also add their voice. So all this infrastructure, including the Ring Canal, are subject to simulation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Deng, for responding to those questions. Those were a lot of questions that accumulated actually, but it's good you writing them down and you replying to them. Our uncle Jashua Dau is here, but I don't know, maybe it's late now in South Sudan. I don't know if he's still here, but if you want to add something, just a little bit, and then after that maybe we uh, gonna give you guys a few minutes for break, maybe 5 minutes, to go get yourself some water or drink something. And while your phones are mute, the two guests, I'm just talking about the two guests. You can mute your phones and listen to the rest of the people that are gonna ask the question, and then after that we'll go for a little, maybe a small music, and then you will come back and answer those questions. So you're not gonna be worried to be asked right away to answer them, but you can put your phone on mute and go get yourself something to drink or something.
Anoka,
Away.
Anoka, you think there will be time for music and all that? How about the replays? Maybe they will be turned off.
Yeah, I actually was going to add something on that. Naka, we haven't got enough time for the recording. We wanted to end it actually with those on the stage, the four guests, and then we end it in like 15 minutes or something.
Okay, yeah, I was just wondering because they've been talking a lot and their voice are cracking, so I was just wondering. There's no problem. We cannot play music, but we can continue to ask the question while they are whenever they are ready to answer, then they can come up. But I just want to give them some break if possible. Yeah.
Honorable Joshua coming.
Okay, Honorable can come in, wait in, add something to what Dr. Deng said earlier, and then after that we'll go to who was here before earlier. There was a brother that was here earlier, Jock Akwe. I don't know if he dropped himself, but he has been here patiently. But if he's not here, maybe we can. I don't know who came first, Billy or what.
I think I was a long time.
Let Honorable come in. Honorable Joshua come in.
Thank you very much. I just want to respond. Thank you, moderator. I just want to respond to the question whether about the heritage. The UNICEF has proposed the third area to be maintained. I think this was the question we will refer to me. I would say our government and our country has not been at peace since we agreed, since the CPA. We have been engaged with the security situation, with the famine situation, with the situation of survival. And things life was managed. So the pardon?
It's okay, Billy. Look, let him just speak. Is your network going out and in? It's okay. Just talk.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry. I was saying that since the agreement came in 2005, we have been not at peace. So the essential parts like heritage have never been a concern. And I don't think that UNICEF has ever forwarded to the government, and the government has not considered it officially. I was here since 2011, and I've never heard anything being talked about. We have been concerned with essential means of survival, and not to revive the cultural heritage that has been preserved for a long time. Even the things that we left here in 83 are no longer revived and are no longer available, leave alone the sad area. No one has been there. It has been a war zone area. So no one has considered that, and you all know that since we became independent in 2010, and we had our government in 2011, nothing has been seriously considered in terms of revival of institutions that were there. So I'm sorry to say we have not considered that as a government, and Parliament has never passed any resolutions on that as to how it should be managed. And the government has no personnel that is managing cultural heritages, leave alone what is far away in the sad area. Leave alone the wildlife has never been considered. Even those areas that have been given to commissions or concessions to other institutions and foreign elements like Jebel Boma, like Mangala Zoo, it has never been revived. So I'm sorry, nothing has been officially considered. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yeah. Yeah, come
A good
in.
come in.
Come in.
A good
Sorry.
come in, but only 1 minute, please. You guys,
Yeah,
we
yeah,
need
yeah.
to
No, I think
come in.
I will be
Then
led.
Billy Luke will come.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah. First of all, thank you to the guest, Dr. Deng Majok. I think he's my neighbor from Eastern Massachusetts. Here. Also, Dr. Honorable Jashua Dau, the moderator of the panelists, and also the audience. I think sometimes the state of South Sudan, actually one of my fellow from my state, back in the days in the Middle East, he said that if God has created him, deaf, and so he can see the east of South Sudan and not to hear them, it would have been better for him because we have flood in South Sudan for the last 4 years, straight without stopping. And the government hasn't addressed this issue of the flooding. And I don't know what kind of future we're going to build. So now the question goes to Dr. Deng, if he work with the government, if you work with the government, Deng, what will South Sudan look like in the next 5 or 10 years with this situation of flooding? And also there was a suspicion of relocating. If the issue of flood is an issue, and people of Sudan will be relocated based on the situation that we are seeing here in South Sudan, that actually very, very suspicious. To Honorable Jashua Dau, you are a member of Council of the State. And this issue of flood is very dangerous. Actually, I have done the work in South Sudan 2012 about the lake excavation of the lake and rivers. We did survey for two weeks straight with the company from the Video America. And we have seen that South Sudan probably in the near future it could become a desert, and this is very dangerous. So, as a member of Council of the State, I will say it again. Last time I asked you a question: why your state Council of the State cannot address this issue to the national government, so that at least this could be taken very seriously. And Mr. Dr. Deng, you said earlier about framing. If South Sudan government can intervene and make an excavation, at least to have the space. If there's a flood, that water could be they have a room to be restored, to protect the safe that lapish, and then also could help with with the farming during the seasons that there's no rain. Those actually could be the good chances for South Sudan to move forward. So I'm just wondering what kind of government are we having here. With this, I will say thank you so much. My name is Ogunagun Wine from Northern Barakazal. I'm also a member of the film senior in the United States of America, and also a leader of 6 states in the state of New England, the 13, one of those of the 13 colony of the United States of America. Thank you.
Thank you. Good. Billy Luke, come on. Make it 1 minute, please.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Brother Cholit, Noka, and Sister TJ, and Sister Deng Ton, and our special guest of honor, Dr. Deng Majok, and Honorable Jashua Dau, our uncle and senior politician and political veteran. And thank you also to the listeners who are watching down there. This is a great honor and pleasure to be here today and listen to our expertise in this regard, and our special guest, Uncle Joshua, for being here with us. I will not actually say much because most of the questions that are relevant to this topic were already being presented and are actually answered to our satisfaction. So we don't expect anybody to ask further questions, given the fact that we have exhausted the question. And therefore, we are just coming up here to just throw in some few comments. And before I go further, I just want to clarify one thing to one of the speakers who came earlier and tried to challenge our special guest. That was quite disrespectful. Dr. Deng Majok is here as an expertise in that field, particularly in the environmental science. And Uncle Jashua Dau is here as a politician and a well-informed political veteran. And he's also from Jonglei. And he comes from the area where the native civilians of South Sudan are affected. So his presence here is a great honor, and it is a great thing to do. To those who were actually being critical of why Dr. Jashua Dau is here, and who is actually the expertise in the topic under discussion. So in that regard, I think it is Brother Deng Majok, the former chairman of the Lost Boy of Sudan in the United States of America. I salute you, Brother Deng Majok. We might have not met each other personally, but we have been discussing issues in various forums back in those days. And that's a great pleasure to have you today and share the forum together. That is great. So you have done very well, Brother Deng Majok and Uncle Joshua, on the political issues that are attached to this issue. So coming to my point, I think I was coming to elaborate a little bit, but I think I can give the honor and respect to General Ian Matthew. He did an excellent job too, and I would have actually recommended him to the moderators to be considered as one of the special guests on this panel. And I recommend him next time when you are about to hold the second session in regard to this topic. I would recommend him to be part of it because given his well-informed, knowledge in the area, because depending on the way he presents himself, I was so impressed, and he just said it perfectly the way I want to present it. So just to echo a few words from General Ian Matthew, what we need in this regard is to actually look for the expertise in the respective scientific area like geology, environment, and also we have to look for a team of lawyers, a team of environmentalists, a team of geologists and hydrologists and meteorologists. All these expertise need to come together and address the issue of the Jonglei Canal. That is what I strongly commend. So next time, we have to host them. I'm just coming here. I'm not an expertise in the field, but I'm here as a political activist. And activists, most of us here who are hosting the show are activists too. Like I know Brother Choli, Sister Anok, and Sister TJ, and Sister Nyandeng. And most of you down here who are coming up here to comment, we know each other on social media, and we have been interacting for a very long time, including General Ian Mesio himself. And I'm so impressed to learn today. I strongly agree with him, despite the fact that we disagree on other political issues. But I highly respect you today, given your participation and given your background as the son of Jonglei State. I would have recommended you to be a part of the panelists. And I hope in the future we would like you to be here, and we will ask you too. So coming to the point, sorry to drag on. I just want to emphasize this to our guests, that the issue of Jonglei Canal is actually a national security threat issue, similar to that of the environmental pollution that is caused by the oil pollution. So these two issues actually contribute to the national security threat, and it will continue to be there. But I was so disappointed to learn from Uncle Joshua, from the standpoint of the government of South Sudan. I know you are not holding any official position in the government, You are just a political veteran who is well informed about the governance of the system, and you have actually offered much of your time to offer advisory role to our government. However, they may not be incorporating your well-informed decision and policy making approach, and that is very unfortunate. I have learned from you, Uncle Joshua, that the government is actually acting from the weak position, or they are simply being ignorant and negligent of this national security threat that is caused by the flooding and the oil pollution.
Wrap up your
This thing
point,
need to be
Bideluk.
taken critically. Yeah. So this thing need to be taken critically. So I was wondering, Uncle Joshua, and I hope some of you can actually also reinforce it with answers. If our government is actually fearing from the external threat, as we are being held hostage by the Egyptian government over the fear of possible, veto power, whatever that is, are we so afraid of the Egyptian power veto over South Sudan to the extent that we just want to neglect our civil population? You left them to die there simply because foreigners are the technician in all these field of environmental degradation and pollution caused by the oil and the plot. So are we afraid to take action simply because the Egyptians have more power over us? I would like to hear from you, Dr. Deng Majok, and Uncle Joshua, Honorable Joshua Dau. I would like to end over there. Thank you. Next
Thank
slide.
you. Madud, it's your time.
Joke is back too, so we will give Joke time after Madud. Yeah, thanks.
All right, I'm right here. Hello. Hello,
No,
everyone.
cho Madud con cho bố Joke.
Chaka jog jam wet kayan man kaya kalle. Chaka jam. I'll wait. I'm waiting
Okay.
more than 1 hour.
Okay, can Joke I yeah, but now he's back. So thank you, Madud. Joke, Akwe, maybe you can come because you've been waiting earlier. Then you left. Yeah, welcome. 3 minutes or 2 minutes, I mean.
Maduda ane chimit bala kor mis wini nor achakala bay.
Teri jama ke lo ro tene lo ngabor.
Okay, thank you very much. Anoko kujela uncle ler kibene na wak kan ja kuni ja karan koka kunali tan mon patis. Ba di din ka wat yok. I myself, the current location tantin, I'm in Dallas, Texas. Na to Dallas, Texas. Ke Dallas, Texas anang koji to tin. Ache garan ja kuni jok.
Can
Anam
you
is
speak
ko.
English or Arabic? Because there's
Okay,
a lot
okay,
of
okay.
audio.
I will do that. I will do that. Okay. Okay. Thank you, Sister Anak. So, my name is John Kwenijok. I'm from Badit. The reason I'm interested to talk to Uncle Joshua is our father. I myself, I can look to myself. I'm his son, or Anak can look. She's a daughter for him. The reason I'm saying this, in the other community, they try to come and hit a Dinga, and Dinga cannot even collaborate himself to them to be required. And no, I'm sorry to talk about this because I got hurt. War the Bugar al Shalu body. I have some of the cow.
You're out of topic, sir.
Okay, I have some cow in that what happened in Badit. I'm not happy when I'm trying to see our father, Uncle Doctor, or Abun, entitled Abun. Why why our people have been humiliated for other community without no reason
Job did,
within.
that's not the topic. Or running another show for that
Huh?
data. That's not the topic.
Yeah, I
Can you?
told Manate, Warafin.
Huh?
Hello?
Yeah,
Job,
mana
you are out
yeah,
of the topic. You are out of the topic, please.
yeah.
Okay, the reason of the canal. Okay, I see that since 1980, the canal of Jonglei Project. Okay, I will cut it short. So, are you guys gonna do the canal, Jonglei Canal? Because I was trying to say a lot of word. Denkamis is already said that a lot of word. Denkamis from Arizona. I'm from Dallas. I have a bachelor degree too, like Denkamis too. But as Monjang, I would like to go back to the project of the canal. Canal is still gonna exist or because yeah. Thank you, Manatim.
Thank you, Job, brother Job. Yeah. I can just squeeze in some announcement right now. There's a brother. And just give me 1 second. There's a brother who texts me. I think Denkamis. He say he have a show. It's gonna be I think 5 hours from now. It's gonna be 7 p.m. New York time if you are in North America. But if you are in Australia or some other part, you can calculate it. It's 5 hours from now. It's gonna open the room on insecurity in Jonglei. Maybe that gonna fit the question of brother Job, okay, who just talk about his cow have been taken presently. So maybe we can join them later on and go and hear more from there. Thank you. That's what I want to add. Brother Wilson, you can come now.
Hello everyone. In Chamodi and Chol Deng Majok, ko Uncle Joshua. Era ni Chol Madura Nyar Madura Go, era Pele Nana in a quart or not. Regarding the Jonglei Canal, the Jonglei Canal, I think how people went on riot regarding that is another issue. Has that issue been solved, or is it still the case? Then
Say that again, Madud.
I said regarding Jonglei Canal, Musinong riot Chirolo back in the past, has that issue that led to the riot been solved, or is it still in place?
Yeah, continue, Madud. Your question will be written down. Continue.
All right. Well,
Yep.
first of all, I think regarding Jonglei Canal, I think there are some environmental impacts, negative one, associated with it. You know, the communities along the River Nile who practice pastoralism, they will be affected. Given that the excess water that goes to the swampy areas like Yiput, whatever, will be drained off. Hence, all those will not exist in the near future as the program of Jonglei Canal Project goes ahead. I hope you are more considerate in that case. The other thing too that I will focus on here, we know we always have issue of flooding in Jonglei area on yearly basis, and the government isn't doing anything about it, and I haven't seen anything. Ya Jamana, all many years we know ya bora no ya bor pawera no ya bor kana they happen, but nothing has been done at all. I don't think this is the time we should be talking about the flooding and the impacts on natural environmental impacts associated with flooding in some of the states across Sudan. Because the government didn't care about it, or is it because lack of resources? But when we hear here 4.5 billion has been embezzled, it is very irritating. It's so shameful. What I would like to say is here, if you look at it this way, locals or the civilians, they are engaged in building traditional dikes that get overflown easily. There's no any mitigation method that has been placed in that has been put in place by the government. The government just give them cold shoulder or a blind eye that nothing has happened. Let it keep on happening yearly, and God will sort it out. We know in Sudan too, the environmental IDPs are envied by the communities who are the original inhabitants of the places they move to, the higher grounds they move to, when there's flooding and there's always crashes. Government is not looking at that either the same way, and you can see this the environmental IDPs are part of the reason of the blame. Oh, our land has been grabbed, our land has been grabbed, our land has been grabbed. But they don't go there because with an intention of invading people or grabbing land. They go there because there's a situation that forced them to end up there, which is something else that need to be addressed too. But we don't see anything in place being done at all. Can you imagine someone receiving a phone call that flood arrived while we were sleeping, and then people found themselves submerged in water, which is very shocking. No warning signs that there will be flooding. The rain is coming. The river Nile or whichever river is about to be is about to overflow.
I might wrap up your
That
point.
itself is terrible. So I don't know what is it that's going to happen or what changes is going to come anytime soon, but I wish you best of luck. All right, sir? I will end it there because, but then, Chul, let me tell you something. Unfairness shouldn't continue regularly on platforms. God was given 1 minute. A few other people were given time to rant for some minutes. I don't know if I see knock ran no knock. So you need to understand that part. No, I think and but then command there are a few individuals here. Instead of someone coming and deal with the topic, they go directly and deal with the individual that they don't like. Like what Miracle did to Matthew, I didn't appreciate it. Make sure you control that next time. Shukran.
And thank you. Yeah, Jamana, we have only 15 minutes for Dr. Deng Majok to leave. So what I will do now, I'll warn you in Chuor to ask the question and also Green so that he can actually answer you guys before he could leave. So go on, guys, with your questions only. Chuor come in, then Green will come in.
All right. Thank you, moderators, and thank you, special guests, Dr. Ding and Uncle Dao. Dr. Dings, I believe I listened to you on Dr. Carl books when you were talking, and then I kind of got interested into hear about you and what you see how our country goes. So that's the second time that I heard your voice or being interact with you. The same with Uncle. Um, I met you in Yen Numtuk's, and there was some question that people asked you to clarify what the difference between Yen Council of Elders and the government and what kind of role they play. So today is my second time, so I'm so thankful to hear from you guys. And I'm going to go to canals. I came in late, so I'm probably going to repeat what other people said, but I'm going to make it short. For the canals, so Uh,
Okay. I'll bring it back, guys.
advocate for the environmental that he was trying to tell us and working on it. And for somebody like Uncle Dao, he can lobby for the Jonglei or the surrounded area for the dam to be built as part of the projects, if possible. Uh, because whether we like it or not, I don't see it. Has to block hasn't when I say has, I mean the South Sudanese government. I don't see them to block whatever the Egyptians say politically and uh, militarily. So we don't have other options besides advocating for our benefit. Yes, they can benefit from it, and we need to be benefit from it too. So they can build the dams in around the area, especially Jonglei area, so the flood can people can come back to their own lands. So if I'm repeating something, sorry. If that's, uh, I think that's what I would say. It's not a question; it's just an interjection
Thank,
of what everybody said. So I'm gonna
thank you.
start from there.
Yeah, thank you. Green just come in so that Dr. Deng could answer you guys.
Uh, Thank you guys, the moderator, Dr. Deng, and Reverend Jashua Dau. Uh, I have one question for scientific way to Dr. Deng, and one question to the Reverend because he's one of the MP according to what I heard. First question will go to the Reverend. Every year around May, June, July, we have a famine that come actually hit our country. Why do the government turn the blind side to the people of South Sudan? Because the people of South Sudan was caused the famine, according to my knowledge, according to the study that I have done, is because of the flood. The crops being destroyed by the floods in all the many regions in South Sudan. And that's what we face every year. And the famines that come take lives for years and years and years. Why did the government never have a solution for it? Scientific way to Dr. Deng, why the canals of Jonglei is being pushed off, and what are the benefit of the canals, and what are the benefit of the canal not to actually be inflated, not to be graded, not to be finished? Because there's a scientific way that actually say it could bring disasters to the country. So those are my questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Green, in Chocolate. I think I will allow the floor now for Deng and Uncle to answer, but there are two things that I want to mention. First of all, Madud, you asked about the strike that was done against the canal. Uncle have already answered that. He mentioned that there was a strike in Juba, I think in 1970s, where one person was killed and others were injured. That strike was not solved. And until today, Uncle is also speaking against that kind of Jonglei Canal. So your answer should be like that strike is not solid. And that is why Uncle is here opposing the Jonglei Canal. According to his speech, he does not actually support the reviving of Jonglei Canal. Coming to your point in green, also Uncle have mentioned, because I've talked about 7 states underwater, which could actually allow the government to issue a state of emergency. But the government is not doing it. So we have already mentioned that our government is not actually listening. Nobody is listening to anybody. So when you ask about why the government turning blind eye side, it's obvious. We know there's no one listening to us. That is why 7 states are underwater with no state of emergency. When in fact there should be a state of emergency if 7 states are underwater and 3 states are not. So that is a national disaster. So now I'll give the floor for them to answer some of the other remaining questions. So I don't know whether I should start with Uncle Joshua or should I start with Deng Majok. You guys should work it out now.
Let Dr. Deng answer all the questions that have arisen, if there are. Thank you.
Okay, Deng, the floor is yours. Wind it up and we can actually close.
Okay. Yeah, thank you very much, the moderator and all the moderators. I will pick it up from where we left. And there was a questions about how would South Sudan. Yes, there was question, I think, of whom the question about how would South Sudan move forward. For example, if I were playing a role in the areas of climate change and water resource management, that question is also connected with Wilson, with the question which you have already answered. But part of his question was hinting to the bind, this bind in which the communities found themselves in. On one hand, there is seasonal flooding, and the flooding is not allowing people to develop meaningfully, to have services, and to have towns being sprung up so that there is a meaningful development. But then on the other side, we also need to preserve the aspect of ecosystem. When we talk of ecosystem, all of these are interconnected and interlinked together in such a complex way. The wildlife in the Buma Mountains and their migration, the entire well-being and feeding depends on what happens from the flow of water within the Nile, within the Sat Desert, between the floodplain and the Sat itself during the dry season. So if you are going to plant something, you also have to factor in the impacts it will do to the wildlife, to the potential of ecosystem in the future. You also are looking for individuals, populations, communities, their own social structure, their whole cohesion as communities who have been in this space over time, and how such a project would transform their own lifestyle and what needs to be done beyond that if something is implemented. And so this vine is connected also with the question of Chordit about the remedy, or it was just a comment about what kind of remedy that need to be done. And the last question asked by Green, I will not answer the question of why the political question, but I will answer the question related to the project. We talked earlier that there are disadvantages according to research, and there are advantages of Jonglei Canal. The disadvantages tend to outweigh the advantages, and I went through those early on. I believe this is recorded and that this is available to the audience, and if so, you will find a segment of the discussion in which we have delved into into the, elaboration of the benefits as well as the disadvantages. So I'd like to close with these 5 specific points that would address the last questions and as well as what we have been discussing. So in the next 5 to 10 years, I would recommend, for example, that South Sudan has some meteorological stations that have been put in place. Some of them are no longer functioning, and in some places we don't have some. In some of the major cities across the country, we need to ensure we have meteorological stations in order to capture the meteorological data. We also want, number 2, weather station either on land or along the sea to measure the atmospheric condition. This is where we got humidity, data on humidity, data on temperatures, relative humidity, but we don't have that. And as a country whose resources has to do with water and whose resources also tend to diminish because of the extreme weather events, it is important to have these equipment so that we can monitor the river Nile system flow as well as the atmospheric conditions so that there is early warning signs in events of drought and flooding. Number 3, I would recommend that the Fuller Dam should be implemented and completed and renovated so that it can be used for hydropower, as well as to modulate or regulate the flow, the steady flow of the water from the Fuller Dam. I would also recommend in the next 5 to 10 years that there are at least water research institutes that have been instituted and attached to universities across the country to begin to attract young generations to study climate science, geography, geology, to study water resources, management, biodiversity, the environment, soil, ecology, and all of that. It is important that we recognize the issue of water as a national security and as a national resources, and looking at that as a national pride. And if so, then it is important to invest in the younger generation so that in the future we have a knowledge base that deals with all the aspects and components of the complexity of the South. I would also recommend, in line with the institutionalization of the study of the water across the country, we began with this. For those of you who were here, we began with the water, with the threat of flooding as affecting our entire country. Jonglei Canal came as a case study in the discussion, but the discussion is much more encompassing too of water as a resources for the country, and the threat of flooding as affecting the entire country. 7 out of the 10 states are affected, even though some are more affected than us. So this is a national issue, and therefore I recommend also that there can be a national scholarship that would sponsor 10 students straight from high school across the country that can study water South Sudan, outside South Sudan as well, and that would ensure that we are tapping into the idea of investing in the human capital and in the future now. I would also recommend the last recommendation that South Sudan, both at the state level and especially Upper Nile, Jonglei, Unity and Lake State, through their parliament, perhaps they can debate all of this and come up with a strategic plan that can operationalize the kind of ideas we are talking, so that there is a committee at the national level, a committee that is dealing with this disaster. I understand there is a disaster relief committee, And maybe that committee has been tasked with specific roles, and maybe it is much more. It's probably spreading itself too thin because there are a lot of other natural disasters. It is important to differentiate this kind of disaster and give it an elevation and visibility needed, and the resources it deserves. And the way to begin that perhaps is to start with a national committee that is representative of all the states and that has also leaders at the national level from the parliament. And when you have this committee, that committee can now work with with institutions, as I recommended earlier, institutions that have studied water and that can model water. That institution can produce knowledge, and that committee will then work on the dynamics of the people that need to be relocated, to be resettled, their security, and future plan. That committee can work with the Ministry of Water Resources and Irrigation and that of the environment. That committee also can work with international bodies that are interested in the SAT Institute and in the research of the SAT Institute, and that can tap into some other resources globally. That is what I would recommend in the next 5 to 10 years. If this are done, then they can begin to give us a clue as to how we are going to handle the situation from the short-term, medium, and to long-term as well. And in the meantime, we study on the long-term can be done in terms of whether this kind of flooding will continue and will it continue for how long. So that is what modeling, when modeling comes in, and how it is imperative, so that we don't do this blindly. Once again, I appreciate Honorable Jashua Dau recommended me to this platform, and the moderators who have joined us in this conversation, and also all the individuals who have asked questions or comments. And I hope this dialogue, and especially specifically, is focused on what needs to be done, because we are dealing with issues of life and death. And I hope we can remove politics from it, but move forward and find a solution to them. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Deng Majok, yeah, for briefing. I think we are almost close to the end. Want to ask our uncle Jashua Dau if you have something to add. 1 minute, and then we'll give some minutes to moderators to conclude. I just want to say also, I want to thank Lake State Media. I get the notification that they are hosting it the live now on Facebook. So this message can reach a lot of citizens. And this is typically like public awareness. It has nothing to do with politics, as Dr. Deng put it. Is all about humanitarian disaster that's happening, and some ideas, sharing ideas, what can be done for short term and what can be done for long term as a nation. Right now, nobody's blaming anybody. Our government is preoccupied with a lot of things, and this is one of things too should not be neglected, because a lot of people are suffering, and we are losing a lot of wealth. The livestock is wealth of nation, and uh, that's why it's very important to talk about it right now, because it's a emergency situation with people of South Sudan, including like people in Warab. I learned when last year that in Bokyal West, a lot of people, about 20 people, they lose their life. All the way to a well is flooded. So this is an emergency situation. I'm sure our government is aware, but it doesn't hurt if we add our voices to their concern too, and maybe they can benefit from our brainstorming. Thank you so much. Our Uncle Jeshua, you have something to add? You can add. Randy, welcome. Thank you.
Thank you very much, moderators. I very much want to appreciate you're conducting the debate or the presentation. It was very nice to hear most of the people who are interested about the situation in our country, and especially when it is a humanitarian concern. And this shows how you are aware of what is happening in the country, and you are sympathetic with your people. So I'm really grateful that you people can conduct such discussions, and many people are there, particularly knowledgeable people. I appreciate that. I've heard directly today General Ian Matthew, uh, and particularly his remarks that we want to discuss this issue outside any conflict of interest, because this is a serious situation in our country. So I'm grateful that Dr. Deng Majok has come in to enlighten us on technical aspect of it. And there are many of you outside there who are concerned. And I recommend any of you and many of you to study our situation and help our situation and help our country through proposals and through your discussion. And I wish you a very good health and very good opportunities as you are out there. Dr. Deng, I'm grateful that you have availed yourself to enlighten your people, both in the country and outside the country, about our concern. And we hope you will be able to visit South Sudan regularly so that you know what is afoot as far as our life is concerned. Uh, Again, I advise you that what is connecting you with your people is the lives, and your lives and the lives of your parents, relatives, particularly those in the sad area and in the flooded areas. They depend on you, on how you work there, hard labors, and you support them materially so that they can move out of the flooded areas. And I think it is good for you to exert pressure on us inside so that we do the right thing. And God be with you. And I wish you all the best. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you so much. We appreciate your time. You spend a lot of time sitting here with us. It's too late now in Juba, but because we always need you guys, our elders especially, and they're our expert, to enlighten us. And today we have been enlightened. This is not the last, and it's not is we're gonna discuss more. We're gonna keep bringing you guys. Thank you for spending a lot of time with us. We appreciate Dr. too for spending a lot of time. I know it's daytime in North America, but he's busy. We are busy here. North America and Canada is the same time zone. Is 1 p.m. now. We start this show early, around I think 8 something. So thank you for your time. Now I'm gonna go to my sister TJ. She's one of the moderator. Then after that we go to my sister Deng Ton, and she put her name Deng Ton, so just gonna call it her that way. And then after that we'll go back to Chol to close the room. Thank you.
Thank you, Anoka. Actually, very honored today to have Honorable Jashua Dau and Dr. Ding, especially on his presentation. He did very well done. Very honored to hear a lot of things, and I actually learned quite a few, even though I was busy at my end. But thank you for the presentation that you have actually presented today based on the Jonglei Canal. Not only today, but hopefully in the nearest future, you would also enlighten us with what can be done and how we can actually save our environment and save our people by this natural disaster. Um, My sincere apologies to those who did not get a chance to speak today, just because we keep on running out of time. And for those who had their chance, thank you for tuning in. For those who are listening with us also, we appreciate each and every one of you for taking the great time to hear us out. Hopefully next time, like I always said, if you did not get a chance today, there's always next time in the nearest future, whereby you can hold and you will get your question to be answered. One of brother Billy Luke, he was asking that one of his question was not answered by Dr. Deng, but hopefully next time. I will stop here.
So, thank you, Sister Mariana. Um, yeah, for that input. We really appreciate everybody that has been listening, especially people in the audience. They have been here with us. Thank you so much. And those who participated here earlier, from Ian Matthew, Salaman Dandara, all everybody, including Wilson Madudanyar, Wilson Tanukur, a lot of people I'm not going to be able to mention all of their names. We appreciate them for their views. Anyway, Sister Nyandeng, if you have something to say, you can come now. Thank you.
Thank you very much, to our visitors, um, Honorable Uncle Joshua and Dr. Deng. I just want to let you guys know that I'm always here to learn, and I've learned since you started to come, Uncle Joshua. Another thing that I wanted to remind people of is that we've actually reached the limit all the time, 5 hours, and so I will not talk too much. So, Sister Renoka, I would like for you to wrap it up. And again, thank you to those who came, and thank you for respecting us, and thank you for respecting the show and our guests. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Brother Cholit, if you have something to add, you can come on, please. Thank you.
No, I don't have enough to say. I just appreciate Uncle Honorable Joshua for being with us. He's actually someone who is having a plenty of skills that we are actually learning from him. Also, with Dr. Deng, we appreciate your coming. What you presented today will be useful to us for those who really want to come up with a solution how we should actually rescue our people that are actually lying on the ground there in the flood. So we appreciate your contribution, and hopefully to the audience, we also appreciate you. Thanks for being with us. Next time, we are happy to be with you again. And thank you, moderators, for the job well done. Back to you, Enoch. You can now end the room.
Thank you. I'm not going to add anything more. I want to appreciate the Lake State Media again. I think, I don't know, whoever hosting it, I don't know whether it's Brother Madid. He's not here. If he was here, we could have just given him 1 minute to wrap up, to tell his viewers on the other side so that we can close. But he's not here. I think they are hearing us. So we're just going to close. We appreciate everybody. Thank you so much. Have a good day, or good night, and good evening.
Okay, thank you guys for watching. The show is ending now. The show is ending now. Thank you so much. I just quick cover. It was a long 4 or 5 hours, so I just covered 1 hour. So it was a good discussion. Thank you guys for watching. Have a good day. Bye.